Okay, welcome to the new lecture. In this particular lecture, we will be studying about the bar graphs or bar plots in Matplotlib module. Okay, so what is actually a bar plot? So a bar plot uses rectangular bars to represent data categories with bar length or height proportional to their values. It compares different categories with one axis for categories and the other for values. Okay, as usual, so now we know that in order to use anything from the Matplotlib, first we have to import the library as the PLT, and since we will also be using the NumPy, so we are also importing NumPy as NumPy NP. First of all, we are adjusting the figure size x 6 comma 3, and then we are creating two lists. The first one contains the name of the fruits, and the second one contains the integer values corresponding to each fruit name. Now simply, in order to create a bar graph, what we will do is that we will use plt dot bar, and we will provide fruits as the first parameter and then sales as the second parameter, and then the rest of these things are optional. However, and this is the how much we want to keep the width of each bar, and this is the label of the legend that will appear, which we already studied in our previous demonstration. And where we want to align this bar, we want to align this bar at the edge. Title for this particular plot is fruit sales, and x labels are fruits, y labels are sales, and we also want to um, show the legend in the screen, and then we also want to show the um, plot as well. Now let's go in a little depth here. The basic syntax is that first we have to provide the uh, labels that will appear at the bottom of the plot, and then we have to specify the height. In our case, we are providing the list for each of them, and then you can set the weight, and you can set the color of the bar, and then the edge of the color of particular bar, and if you want to create any label, and then what we want to do is align center. So if you go back to our previous course, so if I execute it, what we will get is that we will get a bar plot here. As we can see, the list of the fruits names are appearing at the bottom of this particular plot, and the height of these bar plots are specified in the another list here. So now I'm getting into the detail of each of these parameters. So what is x? X is basically the list of labels or names that will appear at the bottom of each bar, and the second parameter is the height of the bar plot. In our case, it is the 400, 350, 300, and 450 respectively. Bar width is the 0.5. We can set the value as per our choice. The default color is sky blue, and the edge color is by default black, and the labels we have provided here is 2025 sales, and we want to align this bar graph at the edge. Now just in case if you want to align this bar horizontally rather than vertically, so what we have to do is that we have to call the method with the name bar h instead of the simple bar. So we are using the name bar h here, and first we have to provide the labels at the bottom of the plot, and now these label will appear at the right side, and bars will also appear horizontally here. Now executing this code, we will get a bar graph in which the bars will now aligning to the right side of the plot as well. Now, in order to adjust the width of the bar, it is very simple. Just set width equal to 0.3, and you will get the corresponding width as per your choice. Now, what we are getting here is the bars in which the width is equivalent to 0.3. And now we can also see that the bars are aligned at the center of this particular point here. So what we can, if you so by default the alignment is center. If you want to change this alignment, what we can do here is that we can set align is equal to edge instead of the center. By default it is set to the center. Okay, now just in case if you want to create multiple bar graphs or multiple bars in a single bar plot, what we have to do is we have to create another list here of the numeric numbers. So the problem is that when we create multiple bar plots, it actually overrides each other, and now we can see that um, apples have the uh, in which apples one data is here and the other data is here. So since the ratio of one data is quite smaller compared to the other, that is why we can see the orange line here. But in cases where the second data is much higher than the first one, example 600 is a much higher value than the 300, so what we can see is that we can see this 600 value bar graph here, but the 300 bar graph is hidden beneath it, so we cannot see exactly. So this creates a problem. So in order to overcome this problem, what we can do is that we have to use some logic here. So these are again multiple x values here, and this will create two different bar graphs, two different bars for each particular label. And first we have to do is that we have to create x, and it will, by using the numpy array, we are creating the length of the fruits. So numpy will have the four elements here, because as we can see that we have uh, four fruits name here, so that is why it will create a list containing the four elements. Now mm, in order to create the first elements, or creating a space for the first element, we have to do is that we have to use this particular formula in which the width is equal to 0.35, and we are using the formula x minus width divided by 2. But for the second plot, we have to change the symbol here to the plus. So what it will do is that it will exactly create which will be side by side here. This is the apple, and this is the first value for the apple, and this is the second value. And as you can see that there are also some dotted line here. So in order to create this particular dotted line here, you have to use the grid method here, and we have some more parameters here with the name axis, line style, and the alpha is equal to 0.6, which is the distance between these two lines here. So this was a little bit tricky, but to get a more easier way, what we will do is that first we will create three lists. Let me IT department and ECE and CSE. So we have created three lists, and now for the labels, what we are using is that we are using the xtix method here. It will create the labels. So now this approach will work for the multiple. The previous approach was only working for the two bar graphs in a single plot. Now this approach can work for the as many bar graphs you want in a single plot. So now to get the list, what we are doing is that we are using the np.arrange length of it. Now for the second, we are using the x plus bar width 4, and we are applying the loop here for an x in br1, and similarly we are doing it for the 4x in br3. So this will create a type of bars that will be exactly parallel to each other but do not override each other. Now we are creating the bars. So this is the BR1 which we created earlier here, and then this is the IT. IT contains the values in which is representing in the form of the list, and the color we are using here is the red, and the width of that bar graph is the bar width, which is 0.25, as color is gray, and we are also labeling it as IT. We are doing the same for the rest of the two bars. The difference is that their color is different and their label is also different here. So now you can see the output. So this is the output we will get. So this is again a little bit tricky. You have to practice it to get a solid hold of it. So this is it for the bar graphs.